Alright, simplify, write with positive exponents. Alright, so let's go ahead and look at this one. I've got a fraction with a bunch of different exponents, but on the top I do have a parenthesis around the 4x to the negative 2y cubed. So that whole thing is raised to the power of 1/2. So the way we're going to go about writing that is you're going to rewrite each thing inside that parenthesis, because these are all separated by multiplication. We'll now get that exponent of 1/2. Okay. One thing that we notice is like this negative 2 and this 1/2, those exponents will multiply. A power to a power, you multiply. So you're going to multiply negative 2 times 1/2, and that will give you negative 1. And the same thing for the exponent on top of the y. You'll do the 3 times the 1/2. So 3 times 1/2 would be 3/2. Now on the denominator, I don't have any other parentheses, so I'm just going to leave that the same for now. And then we'll continue on down here to simplify that. One thing right away that we can talk about is the numbers. Okay, notice right away 4 to the 1/2. Now 4 to the 1/2 we know is the square root of 4. Alright, that's what that rational exponent is. So writing like that will help us later on. I'm going to go ahead and bring that x to the negative 1 to the bottom so that it can be x to the positive 1. You switch the position on the fraction. I'll leave the y's the same, y to the 3/2 on top, and then y to the 5/2 on bottom. And then I can simplify even more. Take care of what you know. Square root of 4 is 2. That's what we know. Okay. Next thing we know is that there's an x to the positive 1 on bottom. Dealing with those y's, though, we can look at those exponents, and we know we're going to have to subtract that. So we're going to have to do a 3/2 minus 5/2. Now I like to kind of write my fractions kind of on the side as my scratch work. 3/2 minus 5/2. Be sure you have the same denominator before you do the addition or subtraction. In this case, I already do. 3 minus 5 will give me negative 2. Negative 2 over 2 is a negative 1. So I will end up with an exponent of negative 1. Let's go back and look at that. This will become a y to the negative 1. But instead of just making a y to the negative 1 on top, we can just make it a y to the positive 1. Excuse me, a y to the positive 1 on bottom. So that just makes it a little bit smoother. So our final answer would be 2 over xy. Ta-da!